Hi, my name is Lasley, and I created this video to help educate you on the dangers of abandoned mines and how to stay out and stay alive. In the state of California, there are over 47,000 abandoned mines and over 165,000 openings. And nationwide, there are 500,000 abandoned mines and nobody knows how many openings. Abandoned mines are located everywhere: deserts, mountains, rivers, lakes, wherever you want to go. Abandoned mines are really located everywhere. They're around deserts, lakes, mountains. Pretty much wherever you go, you can pretty much find an abandoned mine. They're near campgrounds, parks, neighborhoods. They're really places that people have access to. Hidden dangers lurk everywhere in abandoned mines. There's rotting timbers, unstable rocks, lethal gas, no air at all. It's a very dangerous place. Nothing good comes from exploring these abandoned mines. You can be seriously injured or even killed just exploring them. Here are some real-life experiences.
Scattered throughout the country are thousands of abandoned mines. Many of these sites date from the 1800s. Some have been closed and sealed off for public safety. However, many others are still open and can be deadly to an unsuspecting explorer.
Whoa, check it out.
It's really neat inside.
Come on, this is going to be cool. Come on.
Scared. I don't want to go in here, guys.
More and more people of all ages and descriptions are venturing out onto lands once rich with mining operations. Today, federal and state agencies are doing their best to protect people from abandoned mine hazards. As the popularity of outdoor recreational activities grows, the number of encounters with abandoned mines and their dangers dramatically increases. These are year-round hazards. Snow can hide dangers like shafts, equipment and machinery, and subsidence holes.
I didn't want to be a chicken, so I went in.
I've done this a lot. It's no big deal.
It looked really inviting. I didn't know it was dangerous.
My dad does it, so why not? It's a family thing.
We went in. I thought we'd just come right back out.
I started going into mines when I was only 10 years old. Big deal.
Sometimes you just do stupid things. I couldn't back out now. I had to do it.
It was raining, and I thought the mine would be safe.
My friends dared me to go into the mine, so that's what I did.
I've done this a million times. What could happen?
I just went into the mine because I was curious. I didn't know anything bad could happen.
There is no excuse. Now, more than ever, you must learn to protect yourself and those you love. You must stay out and stay alive. In Nevada, on July 4th, 1998, several young men found an abandoned mine. The mine entry had been vandalized, and they thought it would be fun to explore. They videotaped their dangerous journey.
As you see Briz pointing out, stay out, stay alive. It's a good point, but we're not too smart, so we're going to go anyway.
This is an unsafe mine. Danger.
One thing we know is about 30 people will die this year exploring abandoned mine lands.
If you look at all this, there's lots of rocks and stuff that have fallen from the ceiling, which indicates that probably not a good idea to be walking this way. And,
well, they've already fallen, so they're not going to fall again.
well, there's more to fall still.
Without any warning, rotten timbers can give way. Wooden supports, ladders, and hidden shaft covers can all crumble under a child's weight. The roof and sidewalls can collapse with a mere brush of an arm. A cave-in can block your escape, or even worse, crush you. Inside a mine, it's pitch black. Mines can be honeycombed with miles of horizontal and vertical tunnels that randomly follow an ore vein. It is easy to get lost. Those who have been stranded in a mine will tell you it's something they can never forget, but would rather not remember.
Yeah, we got to remember where we're... Okay, we got out here.
Who painted these X's and stuff?
Grant.
What do they mean?
Dead ends and stuff.
Okay, they're all got an X on them.
We can go this way. That one's got an X. But it's also got that. What does the diamond mean? Where's that go? It goes down. A long way. Ooh, that's not a little.
Well, it'd be kind of hard if you slipped and fell. You could catch yourself before you actually fell down there.
Not if panic set in and you scream like a little girl.
True. Makes it kind of late.
Hi, Mom.
Might not make it back.
Yeah, that was like.
Mom and Dad, forgive me. Ceiling seems to be getting a little lower. Got some pipes. Oh, wow. We have to climb that.
Yeah, don't everybody get up.
I got
You're gonna be the lucky one to fall.
Oh, shit.
This is going to America's Funniest when somebody falls.
That's a good idea. Alrighty. Oh, that's the table. Don't touch that.
I hope the rope's still there. Where did he step?
Oh, hey, look at this ladder.
I don't think I ever climbed up that.
Where? Oh, here we have the mining car tracks. Wow. That's pretty cool.
This is down to the main shaft.
Wow, so we're climbing down this rope.
Yeah. How far down?
How are we getting out of it?
Climbing up it.
I see.
Oh, this is exciting.
Who's got bad rope climbing skills?
I've climbed ropes before.
And
There's a little ledge you can rest on.
how far down does it go?
All the way down to that ladder. See where it's laying down?
Where the hell am I?
Like a good 30 feet.
Where the hell am I going to hook this fucking
I'll
camera?
go first. I'll go first.
About 600 feet. You don't like to break up. Put it like he's doing it into your mouth. Bad. It's all like this.
Is it off now?
No, it's not.
How am I going to get this thing down there? Yeah, but how am I going to get back up?
It looks sturdy. How's it not?
I don't have a
Hey, good. Give you my belt stretch on.
Oh, Jesus! Adam!
Oh, Adam!
Oh,
Adam!
yes.
Adam!
Oh, God. Oh, God. Somebody help.
Adam!
The young man fell approximately 65 feet. The thrill of danger became only too real as he laid unconscious in the mine. Hurt and scared, he had to wait several hours in the dark before he was rescued. This young man was lucky. Unfortunately, most people who enter abandoned mines don't come out alive, and their stories are becoming all too commonplace. You can do your part by being aware of the dangers. Know your surroundings, and remember that abandoned mines are unstable, unpredictable, and unsafe. It's not worth the risk. Just stay out and stay alive. Oxygen-deficient air, toxic gases, and explosive gases can build up in mines. This can be fatal. Mines are not caves. Caves have natural ventilation. Don't ever assume that just because you don't feel, taste, or smell gases in an abandoned mine, that they aren't there. You can't smell or taste most toxic gases, but by the time you feel their effects, you may be near death. There are many agencies working together to remove the dangers of abandoned mines nationwide. By working in partnership, state and federal agencies are able to address the physical safety and environmental hazards these sites pose to the public and the environment. This collaborative effort allows the agencies to stretch their dollars and accomplish more. However, it will still take a long time to safeguard all the hazards found on abandoned mine lands. In the interim, you may be asking yourself how you can help. You can help by warning others of the dangers of abandoned mines and staying out of abandoned mines. Respect private property and do not trespass signs. In addition, when you find a closed mine, do not vandalize the closure. Those mines were closed because they were extremely hazardous. Besides, how would you feel if a person died in a mine because of your vandalism? Also, the money spent refixing a once closed mine means other openings won't be closed. You can also help by reporting abandoned mine openings to your local land managing agency, such as the Bureau of Land Management, Forest Service, National Park Service, state abandoned mine programs, local sheriff, or the Office of Surface Mining. So please, stay out and stay alive.
Here's my real life experience.
We had our Jeep and quads, and we're looking to do a little exploring and off-roading and just have a good time. Just, you know, have a fun time with family and friends and do our normal thing.
Well, we were having a fun time at our camp. I made a new friend, and my dad and me went on our quads to go for a ride.
They were off. They left, ended up on a trail that took them straight out of the campground, and at least a few miles away, went up through, they went actually past the Calico ghost town, or Calico graveyard, and through a couple washes and around some hills, and ended up on this trail that led them up to the side of a mountain. Meanwhile, you know, I was kind of back at the campground. I was getting a little worried because River was only 6 at the time, and so usually his rides don't last very long. He had a little bike, you know, or a little quad. And
they stopped for a water break or a restroom break or what have you, and he got River off the quad. He got off the quad and they walked into this cave, and Rusty had walked in front of River because he was a little scared to go in.
And on the top mine, we went in. He said, "Oh, dude," and then he fell straight in.
The ground just caved in. It was a hole towards the back that hadn't been seen and been covered with debris and, you know, just old age. And luckily River was far enough behind him where it didn't affect his footing at all.
They came across a adit, again a horizontal opening, and the father went into the adit and fell down, you know, a opening, a vertical opening inside that horizontal opening that he couldn't see.
I screamed on the top of my lungs for him, and he couldn't hear me. And so I went on my quad with my helmet on.
My brother didn't hear a response, and that really worried him. So he decided to go back and get help for someone who could hear him or knows more about how to get someone out of a hole. He didn't really know what was going on.
A ranger came up to the campsite and told me that River was alone in the valley and I needed to come with her.
My dad and my mom always taught me to go to a house that had kids and there's toys spread out, so I went there.
So he got back onto his quad and went, from what I know, it was 2.5 miles in the opposite direction. So he was pretty scared, but his instincts kicked in that I would have never known he was capable of.
When I was about to leave, a lady came. I told her that my dad fell down in the mine. She called 911.
All the ranger told me was that River said his dad had fallen in a hole, and he ran for help. And so we, as soon as we got to this house, I immediately was brought to River, who was sitting in a sheriff's vehicle, obviously in shock. He had dirt all over his face and lines from the tears where he had been obviously crying, and I held him and made sure he was okay. And by then there must have been 40 or 50 search and rescue crews, or men and women that were there, and all of them were looking at this little 6-year-old boy, saying, okay, you need to get us back to where your dad is. He looked up and he remembered. He goes, Mom, he goes, there was wood there was like, you know, like those things on the railroad tracks, railroad ties. There was wood pointing in the air. We had stopped there to take pictures. And so immediately everyone got out their binoculars and started looking, and by this point they had helicopters that were helping in the search. And it was only like a minute before one of the search and rescue guys said, "Hey, I've got wood, I've got wood." And they sent the helicopter over and they confirmed that they could see Rusty's quad below. The cave where Rusty had fallen had an opening in it that looked like an air shaft that had gone straight down. And at that point, all the attempts stopped to get to him. They tried calling for him. They tried, you know, getting light down there. They tried everything, but at that point, I was told that they had to call in some special people to come and get him out because the air shaft was not stable, and if they tried to put people down there, you know, it could cave in on them.
We were called in about an hour and a half later, and we were flighted out of Inyakern Airport with our team down there to Calico, Barstow area. It was halfway up the mountain. It was a very difficult ride to get up to the top there. We rigged up this type of a frame inside the shaft. Inside the horizontal with 3-to-1 non-working loads and also full haul systems.
It took them about, I want to say about 11 and a half hours to get to my husband that day. And when they came to tell me that he had succumbed to a head injury during his fall, it was the most difficult thing I've ever had to go through.
One of the hardest things, in my opinion, to address is the family. Just, yes, they're thankful that you got their loved one back up out of the hole, but you know, that's why we bring the chaplains, the Kern County Fire and Sheriff. They have their chaplains that come on scene. Tremendous help.
You know, my husband, 41 years old, lost his life, and devastated our family. What my son witnessed in that cave that day is about the worst thing that you can ever imagine. And for a young boy of 6 years old to watch and hear his father fall 93 feet to his death was the worst experience ever that I can ever even imagine for a young child. And to hold him night after night and wipe his tears and get him to breathe is the hardest thing for a mom, because I can't take that pain away. And I couldn't even imagine if River, I thank God every day that River wasn't walking ahead of Rusty, that he did the right thing, that he turned around and ran out of that cave, because I know my husband, and I know if River had fallen ahead of him, I would have lost them both. Stay out, stay alive.
Now you see why this subject was so important to me. I was 7 years old when I did that first video, and ever since then I knew I should tell my story and try to help people. Abandoned mines are dangerous. My dad died in one April 7th, 2006, the worst day of my life. I lost him forever that day, all because we ventured into a cave unaware of the dangers. Turns out we had unknowingly ventured onto unmarked private property, and the cave that we walked into was an opening for an air shaft for a silver mine. Even more upsetting is that the owner of the property knew about this danger, and yet he did nothing. As I get older, these are probably two of the hardest facts that I have to deal with. That someone knew about this and did nothing, and that we did not know enough. My story gets even worse. A week later, another man, a Los Angeles County sheriff, ventured up the same trail with his daughter. He too fell down the same shaft. They say that he lived because the search and rescue were just there a week before with my dad and knew exactly what to do. Still badly injured, they say that he'll never walk again. My dad was my best buddy, and I miss him. I don't want anyone else to lose someone they love. So here I am, telling all that I can. Hopefully, hearing my story will educate you. We can all make a difference and prevent future tragedies. People are unaware, and this makes me more determined than ever to pass on the simple message. Just stay out and stay alive.